Have you looked at the grocery prices lately? Have you noticed the empty spots on the shelves that seem to stay empty just a little bit longer each time? We are living in fragile times. The global food supply chain is not as robust as we once thought. Between economic instability, shifting weather patterns, and geopolitical unrest, the idea of a food collapse isn't just a plot for a dystopian movie anymore. It is a very real possibility that we need to prepare for. And the timeline I'm looking at is 2026. By then, if you aren't producing a significant portion of your own calories, you might find yourself in a very desperate situation. In this video, I am going to share with you the exact 8 crops I am planting right now to ensure my family survives and thrives no matter what happens to the grocery stores. These aren't just random vegetables. I have selected these specific crops based on 4 non-negotiable survival criteria. 1. They must be high in calories. You can't survive on lettuce alone. 2. They must be reliable and easy to grow, even in less than ideal conditions. 3. They must be open-pollinated or heirloom varieties, so I can save the seeds and never have to buy them again. And 4. Most importantly, they must be storable without electricity. No freezers, no canning needed, just straight from the garden to the shelf. Let's dive into the list. Crop number 1. The fast calorie generator, zucchini and summer squash. The first crop on my survival list is zucchini. Now you might be thinking zucchini isn't exactly high calorie compared to potatoes, and you're right. But here's why it is number 1. Speed. When a crisis hits, you need food on the table fast. Potatoes and corn take months to mature. Zucchini? You can be harvesting substantial food in as little as 45 to 50 days from planting. It is prolific. Just a few plants can feed an entire family and the neighbors. In a survival situation, volume matters. It fills your belly and provides essential vitamins while you are waiting for the heavier calorie crops to mature. Plus, it is incredibly easy to save seeds from. You just let one fruit grow huge and turn hard on the vine, scoop out the seeds, dry them, and you are set for next year. Do not overlook the power of fast food in a slow collapse scenario. Crop number 2. The carbohydrate king, potatoes. You cannot talk about survival gardening without talking about potatoes. This is the backbone of caloric survival. Historically, populations have survived solely on potatoes and milk. They are nutrient-dense, packed with carbohydrates for energy, and contain decent amounts of protein and vitamin C. But here is the secret weapon for those of you with small spaces. The potato tower. You don't need acres of land. I am growing vertical towers of potatoes that produce massive yields in a footprint of just a few square feet. I use a wire cage lined with straw and filled with compost. As the plants grow up, you keep adding soil. This method maximizes your yield per square foot, which is critical when you are gardening for your life. And the best part, storage. Keep them in a cool, dark, dry place, a root cellar or a cool basement, and they will last you through the winter. No electricity required. Crop number 3. The pasta replacement, spaghetti squash. Next up is a winter squash variety that often gets overlooked by preppers. Spaghetti squash. Why this one specifically? Because in a post-collapse world, comfort food will be a huge morale booster. This squash gives you that pasta-like texture that we are all addicted to, but it comes straight from the ground. More importantly, spaghetti squash has an incredibly hard shell when cured properly. This natural armor allows it to sit on a shelf at room temperature for up to 6 months without rotting. I've had spaghetti squash harvested in October that we were still eating in March. It grows vertically on trellises, saving you ground space for your root crops. It is pest-resistant, drought-tolerant, and produces a lot of food per plant. When the grid goes down, having a shelf full of these golden orbs is like having money in the bank. Crop number 4. The essential fat source. Sunflowers. We talk a lot about carbs and protein. But in a true grid-down survival scenario, there is a silent killer that few people plan for: rabbit starvation. This happens when your diet is too lean and lacks essential fats. Your body literally starts to consume itself. That is why crop number 4 is non-negotiable: sunflowers. Specifically, high-oil varieties like the black oil sunflower or the mammoth gray stripe. Sunflowers are incredibly resilient. They can grow in poor soil where other crops would fail. But their true value lies in the seeds. These seeds are packed with healthy fats and oils. You can eat them raw for a high-energy snack, roast them, or if you have a simple hand press, you can extract your own cooking oil. Try doing that with a carrot. Plus, the massive stalks provide excellent biomass for your compost pile, helping you regenerate the soil for next year's garden. They serve a dual purpose, filling your pantry and feeding your soil. Crop number 5. The protein security, dry pole beans. You cannot survive on starch alone. You need muscle-building protein. Crop number 5 is dry pole beans. Please note I said pole beans, not bush beans. Why? Because in a survival garden, vertical space is free real estate. Pole beans produce significantly more food per square foot than bush varieties because they grow up, not out. I am planting varieties like Cherokee Trail of Tears or Kentucky Wonder. Unlike green beans that you have to eat fresh or can, these are grown to dry fully on the vine. Once the pods are brown and crispy, you shell them, and those beans will last for years in a glass jar. No canning, no freezing. When you combine these beans with your corn or potatoes, you have a complete protein. This is the meat of the vegetarian survival diet. Do not underestimate the security of having 50 pounds of dried beans stored under your bed. Crop number 6. The underground insurance, sweet potatoes. Crop #6 might seem similar to number 2, but it is a completely different beast. Sweet potatoes. Do not confuse these with regular potatoes. They are in the morning glory family. Here is why they made the list. They thrive in heat and neglect. If we have a scorching hot summer that kills off your regular potatoes, your sweet potatoes will just be getting started. They love the heat. But here's the real kicker that most people don't know. The leaves are edible. While you are waiting for the tubers to bulk up underground, you can harvest the vines and leaves for a spinach-like green vegetable. It is a 2-for-1 crop. And when it comes to storage, they are the opposite of regular potatoes. They cure in the heat and store best at room temperature. You can literally keep baskets of them in your living room corner, and they will stay good for months. They are dense, filling, and sweet, a luxury when sugar is scarce. Crop number 7. The calorie-dense staple, grain corn. We are not talking about the sweet corn you boil for a summer BBQ. That has almost no nutritional density compared to what I am talking about. Grain corn, or flour corn, dent corn. Sweet corn rots in days. Grain corn lasts for years. I am planting varieties like Painted Mountain or Bloody Butcher. These varieties are bred to dry on the stalk. Once harvested and shucked, you store the kernels in buckets. When you need food, you grind it into cornmeal for cornbread, grits, or tortillas. This is how civilizations were built. It provides the massive amount of calories needed to fuel hard physical labor in a post-collapse world. Plus, the stalks serve as trellis support for those pole beans we talked about in crop number 5. It is a symbiotic survival system. Crop number 8. The underground pharmacy, garlic. The final crop on my list is not just food. It is medicine. It is garlic. In a world without antibiotics, garlic is your first line of defense. It boosts the immune system and acts as a potent natural antibiotic. But from a survival standpoint, garlic is also the ultimate set-it-and-forget-it crop. You plant cloves in the fall, ignore them all winter, and harvest in the summer. It takes up very little space. You can plant it along the edges of your garden beds. And the barter value? Immense. When bland rice and beans are all people have to eat, a bulb of garlic will be worth its weight in gold for the flavor alone. It cures easily and stores on the shelf for months. Do not face a crisis without it. Conclusion: the clock is ticking, so there you have it. Zucchini, potatoes, spaghetti squash, sunflowers, pole beans, sweet potatoes, grain corn, and garlic. These are the 8 crops that stand between my family and hunger. But knowing this list isn't enough. You cannot wait until the shelves are empty to start learning how to grow these. Gardening is a skill that takes seasons to master. You will kill plants. You will have crop failures. That is why you must start now. Consider this your wake-up call. The systems we rely on are shaking. By 2026, the landscape of food availability could look drastically different. Go out there, turn some grass into soil, get these seeds in the ground, and secure your independence. Don't just watch this video, take action. Your future self will thank you.